Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with Steph Zamorano.
Hi, Jimmy.
Ron Placone is on a very high-powered panel right now.
Very high-powered.
High-powered. So we've told you that the problem with the elections, that the people who are saying that they're concerned about the elections, the integrity and Russia hacking, it's all, if they really are concerned, they're doing nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. Because we've known that you can, the vote is suppressed, right? The Greg Palast doing great work on that. The vote is suppressed. Number two, you can hack the voting machines. And number three, we're going to find out something even else. Look at this. An 11-year-old changed election results on a replica Florida State website in under 10 minutes. An 11-year-old. And so it was at this thing called the DEF CON. They have this DEF CON conference in Las Vegas. And it's a bunch of these computer people or tech nerds. I say that in the best way possible. These tech nerds, and they get together and they have a thing where they try to hack into people's websites or whatever. They try to find vulnerabilities as a service. So what they'll do is they'll set up the exact replica of a website, say like for the Florida State Secretary of State. They set up using the exact, and then they go, hey, try to hack into it. And then when they find the vulnerabilities, they tell the people that here's your vulnerabilities, you should try to fix these. And then, well, here's the guy from DEF CON, and here's what he had to say about it.
But the first kid got in. It was an 11-year-old girl. She got in and took over the kind of mock Florida website in under 10 minutes and was able to change election results and change the winners and losers and all that stuff. By the end of the weekend, the kids were, changing people's names to like Bob the Builder and all that kind of stuff, coming up with some pretty creative things to do to mess with the election results.
You're saying children were able to do this?
Her voice went up so high only dogs can hear it at the end. You're saying children can do it? I can't even go up that high. You want to hear that?
Yeah. You're saying children were able to do this?
Children were able to do
I can't even get my voice up that high. I can't even do it. But that's very fun. That's very funny. And now watch out. Watch what he says. This response, even more mind-blowing. Here we go.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's so easy to do that we didn't put this particular challenge in the main room where the adult hackers are hacking into voting machines, because it's so easy to hack into these websites that they wouldn't find it interesting or fun or challenging. So we decided to give it to kids to do. And so we had about 50 kids doing it, and almost all of them were able to get in and change election results or something else on the page.
So it's so easy to do this that they give it to kids to do, and an 11-year-old got in 10 minutes. Anyway, so this is from PBS NewsHour. Thousands of adult hackers attended the convention annually, while a group of children attempted to hack 13 imitation websites linked to voting in presidential battleground states. Nick Cosell, the co-founder of the nonprofit Roots Asylum, which that's a really clever way to write Roots Asylum, isn't it? Look how they write Roots. Anyway, which teaches children how to become hackers and helped organize the event. That sounds like it almost sounds like we teach children how to become criminals.
Yes, organized. That sounds like a great summer camp.
Actually, it does.
Right? Like if you're into all that kind of media, like that would be totally great.
That would be.
How young do I have to be to go to this?
You get to go to Vegas as a kid. By the way, Vegas. You know how kids love Vegas. Oh, the whoring, the boozing, the gambling, the titty shows. It's a children's paradise. It's a children's paradise. They teach children how to become hackers and organize the event. Said that an 11-year-old girl also managed to make changes to the same Florida replica website in about 15 minutes, tripling the number of votes found there. Cell said that more than 30 children hacked a variety of similar state replica websites in under a half an hour. These are very accurate replicas of all the sites, Cell told PBS NewsHour on Sunday. These things should not be easy enough for an 8-year-old kid to hack within 30 minutes. It's negligent for us as a society. Yes, it is negligent for us as a society, but I'm going to bet you nothing is done to fix this problem. Cell said the idea for the event began last year after adult hackers were able to access similar voting sites in less than 5 minutes. So the idea for the event, this DEF CON thing, I guess that's what it is. In a statement regarding the event, the National Association of Secretaries of State. There's an association for that. Did you know? Isn't that wild?
I did not know there was an association of Secretaries of State.
Secretaries of State. Isn't that something? Said it's ready to work with civic-minded group members of DEF CON community wanting to become part of a proactive team effort to secure our elections. Well, that sounds encouraging. Now, do you have something discouraging? Sure. But the organizers expressed skepticism over the hackers' abilities to access the actual state websites.
Then let them. Then let those kids have some fun with your state websites.
But if those kids do that, that's illegal. So that they can't. But I would still find a way to do it and be anonymous. And then blame it on the Russians. It would be extremely difficult to replicate the system since many states utilize unique networks and custom-built databases with new and updated security protocols. That's what the Secretaries of State organization says. Everything's fine. That's what they say. Everything's fine. Even though year after year, you guys have proven that you can hack into these things in under 5 minutes, and 11-year-olds can do it in under 10. The site may be a replica, but the vulnerabilities that... So this is a quote from the DEF CON guy. He says, the site may be a replica, but the vulnerabilities that these kids were exploiting were not replicas. They're the real thing. So he's saying, no, sorry, this is an exact replica of your Secretary of State website, the exact thing, and they were able to hack into that. So, so they're saying, well, by the way, so a lot of people say, well, or they also said in that article that they didn't hack into the actual, and by the way, even if they hack into our Secretary of State website, that's not hacking into the voting machines. That actually, that would just be, we would eventually realize that someone hacked into our website, our Secretary of State website, and changed the numbers because we get the numbers from the voting machines and we know what they are. And when they go up on the website, we would notice that there would be a difference. So that's why they also say, so don't pay any attention to this because they're not actually hacking into the voting machines. But hey, check it out. DEF CON hackers easily bust into the voting machines. But will tech companies listen? The answer is no. So here's a woman, Rachel Toback. She's going to show you how easy it is. So here's what she says. I'm at DEF CON hacking conference and just learned how easy it is to physically gain administrative access on a voting machine that is used in 18 states. It requires no tools and takes under 2 minutes. So she's going to show you, right now I'm going to show you the video of her. She's going to show you how you can hack into one of these voting machines that are used in 18 states, and you can get administration as an administrator, so you can do whatever you want in under two minutes. So here she goes. She's going to do it for you right there.
I'm very concerned for our upcoming election because this voting machine is used in 18 different states, and it's extremely easy to get admin access on this machine. So let me show you how quick it is. It's about a little under 2 minutes. All they have to do, this bad actor, would be to open up this machine by pressing this button right here. When it's off, removing the card reader, removing this, you don't need any tools to do this. Unplugging this, again, you don't need any tools to do this. Turning it on, all you have to do is pick this lock here with a ballpoint pen. Open this up, press the red button, and we're going to let it boot up here, and then I'll show you the admin access.
Okay, so I'm going to let this play for a few seconds to show you how long it takes in real time. It takes a few seconds, but here we go. Let's watch.
So it's loading what they call a secure voting terminal right now.
A secure voting terminal is being loaded. That's ironic.
And here we're going to see a couple of error messages, and all you have to do to bypass those error messages is just click cancel and OK.
And there you go.
And now I have full admin access under 2 minutes.
Two error messages come up. You click cancel, and then you click OK, and then she has administrative access, as if she is the administrator of that thing, of that voting machine. She's total control of it.
It looks pretty secure, Jimmy.
Super secure. Hackers at DEF CON's voting village managed to swap out software, wrest control of tabulation, and manipulate the behavior of voting machines that will likely be used in midterm elections. The voting machines were put to the test at the second annual conference in Las Vegas last weekend. The goal to give tech companies some insight into flaws that should be addressed before voters head to the polls. But a leading manufacturer of voting equipment complained that the exercise wasn't a fair test of vulnerabilities to the real-world hackers who would have to do their worst remotely and get past additional security hurdles. I think this is a misprint. It said they would have to do their worst remotely. I think they would have to do their work. I think that's a misprint, but we'll see. Hackers will absolutely access. So listen to this. So hackers will absolutely access some voting systems' internal components because they will have full and unfettered access to a unit. Without the advantage of trained poll workers, locks, tamper evidence seals, passwords, and other security measures that are in place in an actual voting situation, election systems and software wrote in a letter sent to customers and seen by the Journal. So they're saying, oh, sure, you can hack into a thing at the DEF CON, but you couldn't do that in real life because in real life, we have trained poll workers. You could have you got to get up pretty early in the morning to slip something past a non-paid poll worker. How could you pot those people? You know, they come right from the FBI to poll working. I mean, you can't get past them. Again, so they show them how it's easy it is to hack, and the people who make this software and the systems go, don't pay attention to it. You guys don't want to fix this? No, we're not gonna. That's what that says. Don't pay attention to those people. Nothing to see here. The Russians. We could always blame it on the Russians. The National Association of Secretaries of State, which represents the top state officials in charge of elections, also criticized the pseudo exercise, saying it, quote, in no way replicates state election systems, networks, or physical security. And that's coming from the National Associations of Secretaries of State. And I'm going to say, that's what I'm going to say to them. You don't think that agency is lying? You don't think they are? You don't think they're completely incompetent, full of shit? I'm pretty sure they are. They just showed you. Anyway, even still, a number of election officials from across the country attended the conference. So, yeah, the secretaries, so no one cares. The makers of the voting machines don't care. The secretaries of state don't care. They, and then next thing you know, I mean, it's just like Wall Street. Keep giving them more. Now what could go wrong? Boom, it crashed. So what? It crashed. Here's from their Twitter, the official DEF CON voting village. They said, here's a DEF CON voting machines hacking village roundup of discoveries from day one. So here's some of the stuff they discovered. 39 kids from ages 6 to 17 attempted to hack replicas of secretaries of state's websites of 6 swing states. 35 kids were able to complete an exploit. The quickest exploit was done by an 11-year-old in 10 minutes. Kids were given an introductory walkthrough of how to perform a SQL injection. Ooh, have you ever had an SQL injection?
No, I'm kind of relieved. Watch it.
Wow, I couldn't sit down for 2 days. SQL injection. From there, they ran with it and were able to complete the hacks. Kids tampered with vote tallies, party names, candidate names. Total vote counts were changed to numbers like 12 billion, and candidates' names were changed to things like Bob the Builder or Richard Nixon's head. So Bob the Builder, that's like the 21st. That's like the new Joe the Plumber. So let's go on. It also says active Diebold TSX voting machines were found to be running an expired SSL certificate from 2013, which makes these machines vulnerable to any vulnerabilities cataloged since then. So they're running. So what this says is that they're, and Arno, you're a computer guy, so you listen in and let me know if I'm right about this. But it sounds to me like, so the Diebold guy, people who make the voting machines, have their voting machines running on an old system from 2013. Now, since 2013, it's 5 years ago, since 2013, they found a lot of vulnerabilities in those machines. And because they're running the old system, 2013's, they haven't been, everybody who knows about those vulnerabilities knows how to get in there. They haven't fixed them. So they're not running the 2017 SSL certificates. Or the 2018. They're running 5-year-old. So now everybody, and they worry about it. So was I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, the SSL is what encrypts the data, so it's protected.
Right.
And if it's 5 years old, 6 years old, since then there have been all these vulnerabilities.
That have been found out.
Different hackers have found different things.
And they didn't update their machines.
Yeah, it's not updated. Basically, it's
so
simple.
all those old hacker tricks still work. It also found out that a hacker was able to reprogram a Diebold TSX to play GIFs and music after uploading a Linux operating system. While this cannot be easily carried out in the time it may take a voter to vote, it illustrates the malleability of these systems. I take forever to vote. Well, now I don't actually go in anymore. When I used to go in to vote, but now I vote by mail. So, but I remember I would take forever in there. And no one's timing you. No one's paying attention at all to how long people are staying in. I've never been to a polling place where anyone was paying attention to anything the voters were doing. Have you ever been to a place like that, Steph?
Jimmy, I have never been to a place where somebody's gone into their little cubby and suddenly here.
Hey, what's taking you so long with the voting? Are you hacking our machine in there?
I just need 2 more minutes.
When I was a kid, they used to have voting at my school. I went to Our Lady of the Snows. That was the name of our school, Catholic. And they would have the voting. That was like a polling place. So they would have, and the voting machines were gigantic. And they had a curtain that you pulled. You walked in, it was like a big thing. I don't know what was on the inside because I was too young. I was too young. I never voted there. But anyway, let's see some other stuff they found. Poll book machines, Express Poll 5000, were found to be vulnerable to having their easily accessible memory cards removed from the top of the machines and replaced with market-purchased copy preloaded with alternative voting poll information. This means that voters that attempt to vote at a polling place may find that they are no longer in the precinct's records, or other voters could be added who could then vote in that polling place. The hack can easily be performed by a voter within 5 seconds using a distraction, or by a poll worker with access to all machines. That's the thing that they're forgetting. So when those secretaries of states organizations and the people from the Diebold machine and whoever else just said, "Oh, don't pay attention to this," because we have trained poll workers. How easy is it for one of those poll workers to go pull this off? You have trust in your poll workers aren't corrupt? How about if I go to a poll worker and I go, "Hey, I'm going to give you $5,000. Could you go do this? Could you go? It takes 2 seconds. Here's $5,000. Here's $50,000. hey, here's $100,000. Could you go switch the vote? Because this is a important district. People would do that for $500, by the way. Poll workers, I there's no doubt that I'm not saying
you're not advocating.
I'm not advocating, but I'm saying I would bet that you could get a poll worker to roll for about $500. I don't know. I'm guessing, but that's what the thing people
In this economy, absolutely.
in this economy. How about you just offer them a free trip to the doctor?
I'll cover your expenses.
Go to the doctor. It's on me. Tell them you want the works.
You know what I'm thinking, Jimmy? I'm thinking what a perfect way to start a third party. It's called hackers.
Hackers.
That's it. And you're in. Forget this due process and, trying to get on the ballots. Why don't we just you're called hackers.
You call hackers.
You start them young, certainly.
They sure do. Well, poll book machines, Express Poll 5000, also keep supervisor passwords on these cards, and they are listed in plain text. The poll book machines also keep personal records for all voters, including the last four of your social security number, your address, your driver's license numbers, and are completely unencoded. Of course. Expanding on the password details above, the hackers were able to read and write the database inside using SQLite, a simple database program available everywhere. They discovered that the root password, get this is right here. They discovered that the root password and administrative passwords are stored in the device in clear text. Mm-hmm. The root password is password. Something we're all taught not to do. This is hilarious. While exploiting this vulnerability would require physical access to the poll books to make use of the info, it's entirely possible to do. The real security failure is that the passwords are stored in clear text in the machines. Here's some more stuff. You want to hear some more stuff? This is from day one. From day one, they found out that the ES&S vote counter machines, the kind used by counties to count ballots from municipalities, they were found to have active Ethernet ports, exposing them to several vulnerabilities. ES&S M650, the hacker had never seen that machine before, the ES&S M650, and the hacker had never seen that machine before today. He discovered that if you remove the back panel, that there's a port there that he could completely control the machine from.
Oh, my God.
He was able to get a serial console access to the machine. The machine is running a version of QNX operating system. That is a multi-user operating system, but was not configured for only one user, the root user, and that there was no password. The machine has a very accessible zip drive on the front of the machine. In order to update the software, you insert a zip disk that has the new copies of the software. You can create corrupted versions of the software and create corrupted versions of the software, add to a zip disk and insert it, which will override the software on the machine. There is no check that the software is genuine. The software should have digital signature, which it would check before doing any update. The machine does not have this. Come on! But you guys are worried about Russia, right? Okay. All right. The danger here is that you can create a corrupted version of the software which will not only corrupt the machine, but when you insert a good zip disk, the machine can infect that zip disk too, which, if inserted into other machines, will cause a viral spread of the infected software. This vulnerability was discovered years ago. And there it is, still there. But it was not published. Well, it is now. All right, so the people who make the machines don't give a shit about this. The secretaries of state don't give a shit about this. No one gives a shit about this, and no one is doing a fucking thing about it. The Democratic Party isn't screaming about this. Nancy Pelosi isn't screaming about this. Chuck Schumer, Rachel Maddow isn't screaming about this. Chris Hayes, Jake Tapper, Anderson. No one is screaming. New York Times, the Washington Post. Nobody is screaming about this. Nobody. They might mention it. It was mentioned in the Huffington Post. In between, their 23 hour and 50-minute headlines of Trump Putin. Somehow they slipped in that article somewhere. So this is, to me, more proof that the establishment doesn't really give a shit about election integrity, and that, of course, the Russian meme is to distract you from the actual election fraud that happened in 2016, which was in the Democratic primary. Enjoy your government. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are, you're probably not. It only takes a second to check, and then you have to ring that bell so they send you a notification when we drop a new video. Otherwise, they won't tell you when we drop new videos. And if you like our show, please help support it. Become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week, and we give a live stream. We do a live stream every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time when you could ask us questions and we answer them back. Thanks for your support.